What's going on, everyone? I'm your master of ceremonies for tonight, your MC for the show, and we are having episode 26 with Mr. Michael Blackgrave. And a lot of you are watching, you know who he is. He's a very, very outspoken martial artist who has a lot of good viewpoints, a lot of great material, and we're going to bring him on, and we're going to talk about what he thinks about a lot of things, get his opinion on a lot of stuff. So this is raw and unfiltered. For all the people that have sensitive ears, you might want to go watch another show because we don't like to have sensitive stuff around here. So without further ado, I'm going to bring the man of the hour up, and we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. So yeah, let's get it going, guys. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How are you?
Pretty good. So I was just telling everybody we're gonna, for people that are sensitive and people that want to cover their ears, they can do so now or change the channel. So a lot of people that are watching kind of know your background. They've trained with you and stuff like that. For people that aren't watching or haven't seen any of your videos, I strongly recommend you go to Mr. Blackgrave's Facebook page if you're a friend of his and watch a lot of the stuff he posts, because it's a lot of relevant to real world things that happen. It's no fantasy on his page. It's all real world content. Just stuff that everyday guys, could just take advice from just working out, nutrition, and to martial arts, self-defense. So I want to just give a quick, brief rundown. I know a lot of people that are watching already are friends with you and already know your history and your background. So how did you get started in martial arts? Let's go ahead and start us off.
Long time ago, man. I was maybe, I guess, 12, 11. My father was former 82nd or 101st Airborne Recondo, and he learned what they call combat judo. So he used to take me in the backyard and just show me stuff. I mean, here's a throw, here's the this, here's the that. And believe it or not, that got me started. But where I was from in Indiana, there was nothing. I mean, our whole county had 12,000 people. It was a little farm town. So every once in a while, I'd get an Inside Karate magazine, and from one of the grocery stores have it, and I would mimic everything in that book that I could figure out. I must have broke 40 broomsticks making nunchucks, Okay, and just working kicks, and just that they used to have the little one-step things. And from there, I went into the service, and that's where I started meeting guys from bigger cities who knew stuff. And that's where I started training with guys like that. A buddy of mine, Scott Latuski, was a Goju guy. A buddy of mine from the Hawaii was an Arnis guy. He would show me stuff. Got my ass kicked by a Wing Chun dude out of New York City quickly. And him and I became friends, and that's where I started boxing and doing all kinds of stuff, was in the Army. When I came out, I moved to San Antonio, and I started in Chinese Kempo under Gary Swan. He was one of Stephen LeBounty's top guys, and I worked with him 2 or 3 years. And from there, I had my dream come true. Peter Urban's Goju opened up in San Antonio, one of his top guys. And I was with him for 8.5 years. I earned my second-degree black belt in USA Goju under Kiyoshi Wright. And that's what intrigued me for everything else. I got stabbed, which made me go into the Filipino arts because I didn't know how to deal with a knife. Pikiti Tertia for 9 years, Lakan Guro in that. That's where I got my interest in Wing Chun, because I saw the handwork at Pikiti, and then I had a buddy of mine who was a great Wing Chun guy, and I just started training Wing Chun with him, and then just formally kept going and finding better guys. And that led me into Kali Illustrisimo, and I went to the Philippines and trained over there with Master Yuli, 280 private hours in 28 days. And then from there, I kept boxing. And then from there, I got the grappling bug and got into BJJ and then catch wrestling. And then I just put it all together, man. And I created my SEAMOK syllabus, just really simple stuff.
And that's what I wanted to go into. A lot of people, like I said, they know a lot of your background, or they train with you. How did the SEAMOK stuff, how did that come in your head? It was just like a combination of all the different arts you had that you wanted to make a simple.
Everything I ever studied had a common root. And the common root to me was winning. And the common root wasn't anything fancy. And I noticed so many people wanted fancy, and they wanted this magical mystery tour of martial arts. I never got into martial arts for that. I was a street guy. I was a bouncer. I did bounty hunting work. I wasn't a very good guy in a lot of years of my life, so I always needed something to make me a better guy in the street. And that's why I got into those type of arts. And be honest with you, I saw stuff that would work and wouldn't work, and I just started taking stuff from everything I did, and that's what it means: simple, effective, aggressive methods of combate. And I just put it all together, and whatever comes out, comes out. You got to help each other build your own monster, man. If you just copy me, it's still mine. It's not yours. So I just put it all together, and the way I teach is I teach everybody to their strengths. I make the system fit them, not them it.
Yeah, I got nobody can move. I know I've noticed that since I've been doing. Obviously I haven't done martial arts as nearly as even close to what you've done it, but just teaching the students I have here, like, you got to make it your own art. You can only imitate so much, but you have to just tailor for that individual and make it your own.
Yeah, it comes down to martial arts, man. I've always believed you have learning mode, training mode, and fighting mode. You have to have all three of those. But if you skip learning mode and just go into banging and all that stuff, or sparring right away or whatever, you're not going to get anybody any good, because they didn't learn anything. So I always teach my guys: learn, train, fight. That's the key that always makes it run.
Yeah, classroom work is a lot of people, like I said, usually when people come and they train, they want to bang right away. But the classroom work is before anything. It's like you do anything, and just learn the basics. Doing your homework, and then you get to bang later on, and get in there and train. I want to talk about, so with the SEAMOK was kind of just like you said, just something you just kind of you started to train like all the different arts to be effective in there. During your bouncing days when you were a bouncer and stuff like that, I know you made a lot of videos talking about dealing with real world violence, what works and what doesn't work. So some of the shit you see now people post of the little flow drills and whatever. Obviously, I mean, with your experience, a lot of that shit probably just went out the door, right? When the shit hit the fan, like.
I'll tell you what, man. I bounced in 1% bars. I bounced in titty bars. I bounced in pool halls and taverns. I never bounced in any place really, really nice. Every joint I've ever bounced was rough for a reason. More money. I made money hand over fist bouncing in 1% biker bars. Guys tipping out. I make some nights $400 or $500 just doing that in titty bars. Some nights I'd make, $600 because all the chicks had to bounce, tip you out. And then whatever the bikers who came in, they tip you out. All these guys tipping you out, man. And so all these places are also rough. I mean, that's where I was stabbed. I've had my head split open. I've been shot at, the whole 9 yards. And a lot of that stuff you see, good luck if you think you're going to pull it off, because you're not going to have this time of, hey, I'm stabbing you. Can you do this? My altercations in that lifestyle with violence was, I would go up and try to stop a guy from doing whatever. The night I got stabbed here, it was the night of the Purnell Whitaker, or the Chavez Whitaker fight here in San Antonio. In the 90s. Yeah. We had a club capacity of 350. We jammed $1,000 in there. So you know what was going on. And I'll be straight honest. It was mostly black dudes and mostly Mexicans, because that was the fight. It was Chavez Whitaker. Yep. And my big holly ass was in there trying to keep the peace. And we had a dude leaned in and bit a chunk of meat out of a dancer's ass. Literally. Well, of course, I'm at the front door, and my boss says, "Hey, get that fool out of here." So I run down there, and I was already a black belt in Goju at the time. I thought I knew it all. And I hooked him up, and I'm walking him up the foyer. Never saw his buddy down on the front. And the dude looped a cut down screwdriver over my shoulder into my chest. And he popped my lung. And I never saw it coming. You're talking just a madhouse of people, And next thing you know, I wake up in the morning in a hospital with a bit and right here on the side reinflating my lung, man. That's how I saw violence go. Every time in the club situation, you try to be as nice as you can. You're ordered. You can't do a whole lot. You can't beat the shit out of people, or you're going to jail. So a lot of times it was you either have yourself and another guy, or you call the cops, man. Because a lot of times, people say, "Oh, it was a bouncer. You get to kick people's ass," and that didn't go that way. You go to jail just as quick as them fools. But when the violence popped off, number one, you got glasses. Number two, you got bottles. Number three, people snuck shit in. Number four, you got coke. Number five, you got booze. You got all this volatility. You got strippers ready to rip people apart. Alcohol flying. There was none of this virtuous, honorable violence. It doesn't happen like that. Not in that world.
So I guess what gets your opinion, this is a show that we like to talk here, raw and filtered. When you see the shit, And I know you're very vocal, guys. I've seen a lot of your posts, for a while. When you see people teaching supposable self-defense for like being in a bar, real world violence, and you see those flow drills, you see them talking about, this and that. And I'm not going to mention any names, and we don't talk about names in here. But when you see that, what goes through your head? I mean, I know you make videos about it, and you talk about like if you think that's going to work,
What basically goes to my head is, God bless you. Because if you think you're going to pull that shit off against some crazy son of a bitch, and let's be honest, people who attack other people usually are crazy sons of bitches or on something. Yeah. I got another story. It's not going to happen the way you think it's going to happen. And let me tell you, having been hit by steel on numerous occasions in that line of duty, once you're hit, shit happens, man. Shit stops. Shit gets different. I remember pulling open my coat and I see this dark blood. I know I'm hit. And I'm not going to lie to anybody, man. I start panicking because I can't breathe. My lung is starting to collapse. And this guy still got that freaking cut down screwdriver coming right back at me. All I remember doing was shoving him. And that was the last thing I remembered. That's all.
Get him off you. Yeah.
Thank God there was other people to stop him, because who knows, But a lot of people think you can fight through this. A lot of people think they're indestructible and they're just going to keep going. And all the stuff they're learning in these fancy seminars and all this shit, until you're in it, you do not know. God bless you if you could pull off your secret squirrel shit. But I tell you what, I'm not the cat who's going to be trying that shit. Not me.
Yeah. So just take us through I'm coming in, I'm a guy, like, I have no experience, like, just an example, like, I'm off the street, but I come to you and I say, hey, Mr. Blackgrave, I want to learn some self-defense. Like, what can you show me? When your students come to you, do you use your experiences, like being as a bouncer? Do you give real life scenarios and say, this won't work, this is what's going to work?
Well, that's one thing about being a martial arts instructor or a fight instructor. People are going to gravitate to you for what you are. I don't get any kids coming to me. I don't teach kids except my own. I don't have women coming to me. I've taught maybe 2 women because I'm rough. And a lot of people find me rough. They find me abrasive. They find me gruff because I call it like I see it. I have people come in my class, and the first thing I'm going to do, I got to see where you're at physically, man. I got to see can you move? Are you gassed in 10 seconds? If you're gassed in 10 seconds, I can't start you where you think you're going to start, man. I got to start you somehow to get your gas up, And one of the first things I start teaching people to start to get their gas tank up is footwork. If for no other reason, if you can't fight where the fuck, maybe you can stop yourself from getting hit a lot. And so I start working footwork, and I start working weaving. I start working all this stuff that gets you moving. Once we get you moving and get that confidence going, now we can start building the structure of what you need. And it's amazing. I've had big, heavy set people who are fit, be honest with you. And I've had guys who are bodybuilders who gassed. I've had guys who were really good athletes gas in my classes because it's a different type of movement. It's not the same thing as running 6 miles. I've had bodybuilders who can't throw a fucking punch because all their whole life they've been pressing. So you get them to throw a punch and they're here. So now I got to assess all these things. I go, okay, I got to figure out how to make this guy punch.
So like I said, the first thing, obviously, is assessment. Yeah. See where you're at, and then when do you go from there? Like, do you tailor curriculum to whatever they need, or do you just kind of give them, this is what I'm giving you?
Well, when I teach everybody, I start teaching them striking first out of the Wing Chun, because it's really, really simple, and I start them on their footwork, man. I start them a left 45, right 45, straight in step, straight back step. How to move your upper body and your lower body together. It's crucial, man. It's crucial that you're able to link your upper and your lower body together when you're moving. If you can't, if you're stuck here in your feet, but your upper body's doing all kinds of shit, you're just opening yourself up to get hit. And then after I start getting people, and it doesn't take long to get people to understand how to move. Once you can start getting them to move, that's a class or two. You can start, they start understanding right away if you teach it that way. If you baby them along and all this shit, I don't baby them along. I say, let's fucking move. Let's work. And once you start getting that stuff going on people, man, their eyes start to light up. Now, once I start to see that eye light up, now, okay, this is the punch that comes with it. That's the overhead. That's the hook. Now I can start putting them on a bag and start having them tap a bag a little bit. Give them a little bit of that pressure, right? Let that bag bounce back on them a little bit. And then I just keep going from there, man. It's building blocks. It's building blocks.
Baby
But if you
steps,
think you're going to take a brand new student who's out of shape on day one and put him through a 3-punch combination with stepping drill, you're going to lose him because you're going to blow him here.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm. So I know when I first started, like I was the footwork was like, even though both the two instructors I had, PM Allen and Chun Ruby I had here, when I first started, we did that sawtooth footwork, and it was like 15 to 20 minutes, and that was the same thing. It was to assess how much footwork we could take. It was back and forth, back in and out, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, in and out, out. And I was so fucking gassed. I was like, my fucking chest was like on fire, and I was like, I can't handle this shit. And she's like, oh, we barely started. Like, you still got another hour of this. So I'm like, oh shit, you know what I mean? But I definitely see that. Yeah, you gotta move, be able to move your feet. So
they also have to understand that training, combat fighting arts, whatever the hell you want to call them. A lot of times it's really boring shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like last week, my top guy I got now, Dusty, I've had him for 3 years. He's really good. He's a smoking little bastard. But the other day I had him doing one drill for an hour and a half because he kept on, he couldn't get it. So why take him past that when that was crucial to what he had already learned?
Yeah.
And he just looked at me and he goes, Sifu, that's all we're going to do tonight? And I'm like, yeah, that's it. Because I'm not one of those guys who try to sit there and teach 32 things in a week or whatever.
Yeah.
One or two things, man, and it's a building block. It's got to be that way because in reality, I can give you 3 or 4 basics, and if you're in good shape and I give you 3 or 4 basic things to do, you can whip a lot of ass. But if I sit there and I blow your head with just a whole bunch of superfluous bullshit, it's not going to come out when you need it.
Do you also assess like mindset, like where these people are mentally, like when they come in, like are they scared to take a punch?
Yeah, mindset and stuff. I got a way to set that shit on fire. A lot of people say mindset is everything. Bullshit. Mindset isn't everything. If you're not fit, if you can't scrap, if you're not strong, if you don't have wind, you can have the greatest mindset in the world, but nothing else is going to happen. You can think, oh, I'm going to whip his ass.
I haven't
seen my feet in 10 years. No. You have to be able to instill in them confidence, man. Confidence is what guides them to the mindset they need. But if you're feeding them confidence and you're building their confidence, but all you ever do is model coddle them, you don't ever put their feet to the fire, the mindset will never come. So what I like to do, I crack guys in my class. I crack them. I'm not blowing their head off or nothing. It's the way my instructors did me. I was a cocky bastard, so boom, I'd catch them all the time. But that builds that confidence. Ooh, okay, that's what I'm here for. And in a man especially, sometimes you need that, You need that crack.
Your ego in check, yeah. You get the I see red people that I don't know how many times I've heard that, like I don't need to take that shit that you're teaching. I see red and I'll fuck this guy up and just a couple. I'll cold cock him. I'll fucking do it. Okay, dude. I know how many people I work with always say like, okay, dude. Like, or the famous, and that's what I'm gonna get to next. I got a gun. Yes, firearms are very important. But
I teach them all the time. I teach guns all the time. But let me tell you what. You don't walk around like this, or you don't walk around with a knife out. If you don't have these, how do you expect to get to this? Because in reality, we're civilians. We're not sitting. We're not in the Fallujah, man. We're not shooting with an M4 at 100 meters. That shit hasn't started yet. It's usually going to be right up close and personal. And that whole thing Jeff Cooper said about we're going to fight to our rifle, really? That's stupid as shit. I understand what he means, but let's be honest. If I'm at the mall taking my daughter to grocery shop or whatever, and only thing I'm carrying is my pistol, my blade, and 2 extra magazines, am I really going to fight my way back to my rifle to get into a bigger fight? Or am I going to use my pistol to get out of the situation I'm in and get my kids safe or get myself safe? I understand about fighting to your rifle. Okay, if the scenario is that and the world goes to straight shit, okay. But it's not there yet. So my whole thing is practicality. I got a Glock on me. I've got 2 extra mags and a blade. And if I can't get out of the situation with that, well, I'm done fucked up.
You're fucked. And I see that a lot lately, like where a lot of people are starting to kind of catch on and mix that firearms with blade with empty hand.
And that's one of the reasons for SEAMOK. The Illustrisimo footwork is beautiful with the pistol. I've taught people And they're just like, wow, I never thought of moving that way. And if you ever train with Russian guys, the Russian guys had that shit figured out way before anybody else, man. They were, the way they move, the way they flow with it is beautiful. It's called a handgun. Yeah, two hands is important, but also one hand is important. It's a hand gun.
Creating the distance and getting it.
Or, you
A
know,
lot of people.
Why do we always got to create distance? Why can't we just drive the shit out of it? That works too.
And a lot of people too, like you said, some people are. I mean, I live in New Mexico, so I mean, it's like Texas. Everybody carries a gun around here, but so many people are just so like focused on going to the range and taking their wife out there and their kid out there and just shooting targets instead of actually learning how to draw, actually learning how to apply simple mechanics, in situations. And I do have a friend who actually has a concealed weapons group here that's actually teaching people how to draw and stuff like that. But the majority of the people around here, especially where I live at, it's go to the range, practice paper targets, center mass. But there's
go and bang. The actual shooting portion is 5% of the game. That's it. I mean, I take my guys through blue gun work on the ground. I take them through Israeli, stand and squat drills. I take them through a little bit of force on force. We use airsoft guns in my garage. So you're in a 20 by 20.
That shit fucking hurts.
And that lets you know where the fuck you're at real quick, because let's be honest, man, when it goes live 100%, what we think we know, I hope you do know, because on a two-way range, I've been on them. It's a scary son of a bitch. You don't know. Whoa, shit.
Goes out the door, yeah. And I've also seen too, like so many people, like they focus on, the bigger caliber, the bigger this, the newest that. It's like, dude, like, I mean, me, I carry a 43X, and then I also have a Model 29. So I mean, I like revolvers. I'm a revolver guy. Semi-autos, or I see you post a lot of revolvers. I guess find revolvers to be a little bit more my thing, reliable. Obviously, you got a speed loader, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
I'm not a gun snob. I like revolvers. I like semi-autos. I carry a Glock 19 or a SIG 365 attack ops, but sometimes I'll carry a revolver, just be able to run all your platforms, run them well, and make sure you have enough ammo for them and you're good at that procedure of, reloads. In my truck, sometimes, depending on where I'm going, it'll be a 12 gauge pump. If other times there'll be an M4 or there'll be a cut down AK, an AK pistol.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends on where I'm going. If I'm traveling, you can bet your ass there's going to be an M4 in the truck, minimum, because you don't know nowadays.
Oh yeah, that's and the people that you're trying to protect from, they're armed as well. So I mean, they're, you see all these home invasions now, and people think, they're just coming in and with no weapons. I mean, those guys are fucking armed too. They're breaking your house. They're breaking your door down. They have weapons.
I'm 2.5 hours from the border, man. San Antonio is the first big hub on the way up. There's all kinds of crazy shit popping off up here, and I'm not. Leave me be, leave my family be, and everything will be all right, man. Just don't fuck with me, and I won't fuck with you. That's my on everything.
And I'm actually 35 minutes away from Juarez, so I definitely. Right by El Paso and stuff like that. So I definitely I see it. A lot of shit going down.
I had some good times in Juarez.
Oh yeah, I've only been there once. When I first got here like 10 years ago, I went there once and never went back.
That's a topic for a different show. My livelihood in Juarez, Mexico, in the late 80s and 90s.
Oh, I bet you it was a fucking wild time back then. I mean, it's crazy over there now. I wouldn't even.
Yeah. It was crazy then, man. You could get killed real easy then, but it ain't like it is today. The cartels, they were there, but they weren't as organized as they are now. But you could, if you fucked up even back then, man, your ass would be at a cook pot in Matamoros by morning.
Oh yeah. It's funny because I was telling somebody the other day, I went over the freeway by UTEP, and then we're on the 10 freeway where it goes around, and you can hear all the gunfire like roll down the window, all on the Juarez side. It was bad. It was real bad. It's like a fucking war zone out there. You see tracers and shit out there. I'm like, is that fucking tracers? Cops battling out with J&G out there right now.
You go down to Laredo, Texas here, man. It's like a demilitarized zone. McAllen too.
Oh yeah.
And all the hotels are taken up by government officials, man. You got choppers in and out of the place. You don't know which cop is a good. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
I got buddies who work the border patrol, and they're just like itching for retirement. They're ready.
Oh yeah, my friend with Border Patrol I used to train with here. He gets retired after 47 years, and he's like, I don't miss it at all.
No,
I mean, the stories he told me, because we're talking about, like we were talking about, knife defense, stuff like that. And he's talking about how they would pull out the paring knives, try to stab him, and try to stab him when they arrested him. And he's like, I showed him some stuff, and he's like, man, that's not going to work. He's like, this will work, that won't work. He goes, if I would have had that in the field, I would have got stabbed several times.
You know what works? About a 26.5-inch freaking collapsible baton beside your head.
Yeah,
that works good.
That's what he told me. He said to the wrist, he's like, I just hit him right in the radial, wow, and knocked the thing out of their hand.
Yeah. That's simple. Pop, that wins. And
I value people like that. Like I said, I value people like you who have the actual experience, in training. To deal with real world violence. I mean, I've been in a few fights, but I've never been a bouncer or anything like that, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's the same thing with grappling. People don't think grappling is worth their while. I did BJJ. I was pushing towards purple before I got these injuries, man. I had to back off of it, and also catch wrestling. And I found a lot of the stuff that I learned there is extremely applicable, especially if you have a mind like mine. While I didn't like all the sporty shit to it, I tell you what, the positions you learn and the things you learn on the ground, and you start to add your own spin to it, you can be a nasty bastard.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And I know a lot of people, even me, like when I first started, I didn't do a whole lot of grappling. I took a little bit of sambo and then just some basic wrestling. But I mean, me personally, myself, I don't have like a huge grappling background.
Yeah, I'd tell everybody, if you can get a good solid blue belt level underneath you, that's good, or a purple belt be even better. That's what I was working for until my neck injury, my knee injury. But dude, knowing what you know and you get that ground stuff, man, you can wreak havoc on people. I don't my personal blend of grappling, if I go down to the ground, I'm not looking to lock anything. I'm looking to break something, hit something, knee something, and get the hell back up. But you got to have them good set basics that jiu-jitsu and a good catch wrestling or something like that can give you in case you got to fight down there and you know what to look for to snap something and get your ass back off the ground.
And what do you think, in your opinion, why so many instructors look down, like one was like FMA and a couple other martial arts look down on grappling? Like why is it like you don't need grappling, you don't need that, just go ahead and finish it before
because they're full of shit. They're full of shit. They're just full of shit. I mean, they think it's going to go just because they got. When's the last time you've been in a stick fight?
Yeah, exactly.
I've never been in a stick fight in the street.
No.
I mean, I've jumped people with an asp when I was not being a very good person. I've hit people with bottles. I've done stupid shit like that, but I've never squared up with a rattan stick and started playing all this stuff. Does it have a place in training? Sure, but it's not realistic. A lot of people say grappling doesn't work because they don't want to pop their own ego. Because they realize, man, if I go out there and get my ass kicked and I'm a grand poobah and a screamer and I go against a big white belt and he smashes me, my whole facade is shot. So instead of sitting there and sucking up and getting out there and figuring out, I'm not in very good shape for it. That was the first thing I learned when I hit the grappling mats. I thought I was in good shape then because I was doing a lot of yoga and I got real skinny and real light. I was down to 227. Shit, I got ragdolled in that joint. Because my cardio wasn't there. Now that I work on that and I got bigger and stronger, you start to understand no matter what if some dude drags your ass to the ground, a lot of the stuff that you think you can apply in any system goes right out the window. Because number one, you're going to gas. Number two, you're going to have pressure on you. Number three, you got a guy who knows what he's doing. Get a D3 wrestler, take your ass to the ground and hold you down there. You're going to gas quick. So you got to have some type of, and not this doomog shit people talk about either. Whatever the fuck. I mean, come on.
I was never shown that.
I love Philippine arts and I've trained a lot of them, but come on, man. That's a lot of that shit's horse shit.
And like for me, like I think that's why I kind of like. I mean, I got the rank or whatever, but I kind of gravitated. Like me right now, I don't do any FMA. I kind of gravitated away from it like about 2 years ago, and I went into to do more like combative stuff, and knife systems, and then did a lot of C-lot, and
even some of the C-lot you got to be careful with.
Yeah,
I trained a lot of C-lot. Some of it's really really good. I trained with Eric Kruk out of Arizona. He does Harimau. And I tell you what, I used a lot of Harimau when I was grappling guys. They hated that shit, man, because I was ripping and tearing. And, of course, you get told not to do that, but, it works. But then I've also trained the other C-Lot system that was, shit, you might as well call it Joey Jones's Taekwondo. That's how shitty it was.
I studied, the Burtons, the C-Lot for the street, and I did it and got the instructorship through levels 1 through 4. And I have to say, like, he took the best, most practical stuff out of it that's applicable for street use, and threw everything else out, like the just a lot of the stuff that didn't make any sense. And it's a really, really good stuff in there that actually, it's
that's practical. Good because he was smart then because he saw through the bullshit and pulled out the pudding. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, man, I took it and I was like, fuck, this is some good shit. And there's no like fucking, we're not doing, the flowery shit. I mean, a lot of the movement was in there, but he isolated everything that was good that you could actually use, like, throat grab, takedown, I mean, there's none of this bullshit like, oh, I'm gonna sweep his leg, whatever. Just good off balancing stuff. And it was really good. That's why, I took it. I did take Parentai under Professor Othman. And he has some good stuff too, but a lot of it was more battlefield. It was like shit, like it told me in prison, if I did a lot of it. So, I mean, some of the Karambit shit is like, we're gonna slice his pecker off, then we're gonna cut his lungs out. Then we're gonna puncture his fucking tongue out. And I'm like, okay, dude, like, I can't be doing that. Like,
that's another thing with knives, man. I always tell everybody, they want to be all this, what I call hyper vigilant with a blade.
Overkill.
And I always tell people, did you realize, man, that, there's something called forensic specialists? They're going to be able to tell which stab smoked this dude. They're going to be able to tell if it was your 21st or your 1st or your 95th stab. So, now you're going to have to explain all this overkill.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, nowadays you got to be so careful with whatever it is. And the knife has more stigma, especially in this country, than the gun.
Mm-hmm.
You look at somebody like me covered in tattoos with a nefarious past, and I start ganking a fucker 30 times, even if it's righteous self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never going to get a jury of my peers.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna take my white ass and shove me so far back in a jail cell they feed me with a goddamn pea shooter. That's just the way it is, man.
A knife. I have a friend who's a cop here, and we're talking. It's funny you talk about this. We were talking about this a while back because he came to train some stuff, and he's like, "If I arrest you," he goes, "and if I see you have a knife," he goes, "and you stab this guy like maybe once or twice," he goes, "I'm gonna look at it more like it's personal. You have a hard on against that guy." I was like, "What if I shoot him?" And he goes, "Well, then if you shoot him, it's all right. I mean, I look at that more as self-defense." I'm like, "Wait a minute. If I stab, well, because you don't realize when you have a blade, he's like, it's up close and personal. You hate this guy. You're taking it out on him." I'm like, "Well, what happens if I shoot him?" And he goes, "Well, I don't look at it as bad because we're trained that way to think about that way. If you have a gun, I'm not going to look at it as bad. You're protecting your family. But if you go up and wham him, you know what I mean?" He's like, and twice, 3 times. He's like, "Then you have something personal. Then you're a psychopath because you can't stop." And I'm like, the fuck, that doesn't make any sense. So if I blast him 3 or 4 times, I'm good to go. But if I, what the fuck are these guys thinking? And he's like, "That's the way we're trained to think, man."
And the thing is, when it comes to cops on stuff like that, I have one thing: lawyer on retainer. Shut up. Now, I have a lawyer on retainer. If I get into any shit, I don't say nothing to nobody because you don't know. You don't know. You say the wrong thing, they're gonna jam you up, man.
And it was funny because this dude's coming to learn from me. I'm like, "Damn, you ready to arrest me already?" He goes, "Well, I'm saying, man, I know we're friends and everything." He's like, "But if this happens and I'm first on the scene, I'm going to look at it like, you can control yourself." I'm like, "Wow, it's good to know." It's like, it's good to know you think like that. You know what I mean? But and that leads me to my next thing I want to talk about. So I understand that you were like, you are instructor in Medusa.
I studied. I learned it and put it together, and I don't teach many people that. I mean, it's good to have something like that in your back pocket, but I don't think everybody needs to know it because there's a lot of psycho crazy bastards out there. A lot of people that just don't.
What were your first thoughts when it was presented to you? Like, what did you think? Like, when this was presented to you, like, this is Medusa. Do you think like, man, this is because I mean, Jason and Mike Raymond did a fantastic job with the material.
To be honest with you, it wasn't. I used to work in the prison systems, man. I was a prison guard at Wacket Hut, at what we called the Hut, man. State prison run by the feds type of shit. So I saw a lot of stabbings. I saw a lot of dude. I saw guys making arrows and shooting them with their rubber bands out from their underwear. You know,
Yeah.
It was crazy. So,
Oh, we're losing him, guys. This was getting good too. Let's get him back. Let's get him back. While we're taking a break, while he comes back on again, let's say hi to who our viewers are watching. Mr. Hammy Aguilar, howdy, gentlemen. How you doing, Hammy? Mr. Kurtz, Rubber Chicken Salute, Mr. Jason Schultz, how you doing, sir? All right, he's back on. Okay.
yeah,
We have to
when
take
it
you
came
off.
to Medusa, dude.
Okay, we go.
When it came to Medusa, the first thing I said is, Jason's going to prison. That's the first thing I thought of.
He's fucked.
Going to prison.
Yeah, he's fucked.
You know, but then I started playing with it, and what I like about it is I could take my experiences that I've had over the years and blend it with my Medusa, and that's, I think, the key to it, man. You got your key basics to everything that you got to know, but also you can put your own flair on it, if you will. I like to move. For a big guy, man, I can move pretty good, and I like to cut angles and stuff, and I like to use a lot of my boxing with the blade, and you know, so it's good. I like it, but I'm not going to teach it to every crazy fuck out there. That's
sure. Yeah. I think there's I mean, I know the manual is available online for everybody to purchase.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, there isn't some people who should be learning. I'm not an instructor in it, but yet I have the manual. But when people ask me about it, I was like, just get the manual yourself and read it. Like, I'm not going to show you anything. You know what I mean?
People, the guys that I have taught and trained it, they loved it, but they didn't like the way I taught it to them, because the way I teach is rough. Mm-hmm. And I put a lot of stuff into my Medusa. Like, if I'm going to shock, I do a lot of sternum shock, and then grab them by a belt and then throw them to the ground and then stab the shit out of them. Mm-hmm. But I'm hitting them full force with a knock knife. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Hey, you're fucking breaking my ribs here.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the reality of it. You know, when you're training something like that, it's not a ballet, man. If you're not putting that ferocity into it, you're not doing your student any service. Because when I'm the uki, when I'm letting them do it to me, if they're playing patty cake with me, I'll smack them. Come on, man, what are you doing? And I'll push them. You're just like I used to in the street. What the fuck, man?
I had to admit, I had those nerves too. I remember when I first started learning. We did some nice sparring when I did with 2 on Ruby, and she was like, "Come on, you have any balls?" I mean, this lady's 80-something years old. And I was like, I don't want to hurt you, 2 on. She's like, I'm going to hurt you. She grabbed my balls, man. She fucking twisted them. And I was like, holy fuck. She brought me to my knees. And then she elbowed me like in this right here. And then she's like, come on. She's like, this is for your fighting for your life. Are you going to do that when somebody attacks you? And I'm like, man, this fucking old lady's rough. Like, she's getting rough on me and shit. So I was like, then I lightly hit her. I mean, I'm not going to knock her out. I mean, I understand.
I'd have blasted her, man.
She probably would have killed me if I would have did that shit. But yeah, she easily could have killed me. I was barely learning then. And then her husband was like, go ahead and hit 2 on. It's okay. I'm like, she's 80 years old. He's like, it's okay. She can take it. I'm like, okay. I gave her like a strong punch. And then she's like, that's all you got. And I'm like, damn, that's like tough as shit. You know what I mean? It's like, but yeah, I see that little apprehensiveness. Like, you don't want to hurt your instructor.
Yeah.
But then I do that too. I mean, guilty as charged. I had a female student, because, and like you, most of my students are females.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why. Like, some guys are like, they're fucking pussies. They're scared. Like, I don't want to learn that. I don't need to learn that. You know, ego in the way. But I had one student was like, kick me in the balls, like, hard, because I had a big, I had the thing on for boxing, big cup, the groin guard. And she's like, and I'm like, dude, like, I'm about to rape you. Like, you need to kick me hard. And she's like, you're about to what? And I was like, I'm going to attack you and throw you on the ground, on the mat. And like, you got to, attack me. Man, she fucking let me have it. I was like, dude, like, show me. I thought my fucking nutsack was split in half. I was like, holy fuck. Brought me to my knees. And I was just like, that's what I'm talking about. I got up. That's the ferocity you need. Yeah. Because we're dealing with training on human life. You're preserving your life.
Yeah.
You can't be playing fucking patty cake, like I'm going to tap you in the nuts. Kick me hard, man. I can take it.
And that's one of the reasons I really got into grappling too, because when you're doing catch wrestling and training, you're doing BJJ. I come from the Carlson Gracie lineage. There was none of this shit starting on your knees. My first role in BJJ was with the 2nd degree black belt, my professor. He beat shit out of me. And that's how I've always learned. In karate, I was after I learned basics and stuff, man, we went right at it, and that's how I learned. And I was one of those hard-headed dudes that had to be cracked in the head a whole bunch of times.
Why is it, and I have this question, because like I said, I'm not a grappler. I don't proclaim myself to be. I took like maybe 2 months of Sambo, and then I fucking pussed out because I had some other shit going on, and I was like, okay, I can't do this right now. But why is it when you go to the mat, they're so like, the first time I had class there, this fucking dude was trying to dislocate my arm and shit. I was like, dude, like relax, I'm barely learning. But he was trying to kill me.
It's like any art, man. You have a lot of times when you first start an art, you're always paired up with a guy who's supposedly your equal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or maybe a little higher than you. And a lot of these guys they're alligators, man. They're trying to feed their ego. So they're going to try to hurt you. I mean, I got hurt several times early in BJJ from overzealous young white belts. Here come the old man. And there was a couple times where I lost my composure and I cracked guys.
But I've never seen it that much in other arts except for grappling for some reason. I don't know why.
When I was in Goju karate, man, that white belt was a target. You know, because we were training in small school. It was myself, my instructor, and then we had a couple brown belts and 2 black belts. And that white belt dude was a target. Everything they were going for. And that's where your confidence starts to build, because you realize if I don't scrap back, these guys are going to continue the bullshit. So, and let's be honest, this whole idea of martial arts being, oh, I'm so good for you, oh, great person, get out of here with that bullshit. Yeah. I never once went into martial arts to be a better people or better person. If you look at some of the great karate men of all times, they weren't the greatest people. Totokyu Kaien, he ran whorehouses. What the hell? Toki Motobu was a prize fighter, man, and he was also a fucking numbers runner. He did all kinds of shit. He was a money.
They weren't honorable men.
They weren't honorable men. Yeah. Git Man was a dirty cop. That's why. What do you think I like him for? I mean, that dude learned how to fight and use his Wing Chun for fighting. That's what he was, man. A lot of these guys were not these great, honest martial arts is for the better, make you a better bullshit. It was to save your ass. That's what it was for.
I certainly didn't take it up to. I first started in Muay Thai. So I started Muay Thai for 2 years. And I did it because I was in the military and I was overseas, and I was like, well, fuck, something better to do. Instead of going downtown and whoring around and drinking, I might as well do something productive, So on class, on base, they had classes, and I took them, and did maybe 1 or 2 tournaments. And then, but I never said, I'm going to do this because I want to be a better man, a better person. It was like, I'm fucking bored. I want to learn how to fucking, some self-defense, some, just even if it's basic. How to defend myself, but I never fucking went in there and were like, God damn, my whole fucking life's gonna change, you know what I mean? And I'm not gonna go around downtown and drink anymore.
Hang on to that, dude. They make it their religion, or they make it their faith, and they hang on to it like the Holy Grail, and that becomes their crutch. That becomes their crutch as to why they ain't worth the shit when the shit breaks, because that's their crutch. That's what they argue with. Well, I've done this. No, it's ridiculous. And online gives everybody the platform to be a dick, so it's good to go,
Yeah, with the advent of being online, it's like, you can be a dick. Exactly right.
Yeah, it's horrible, man. I mean, one more, like I said, I had that feed the other day. Guys were arguing about Mike Tyson versus.
I saw that, and Gracie,
And I'm just sitting there going, dude, it's 2023. That was 90s. What the fuck are you talking? Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
God almighty. And then all of a sudden, all of that went into, well, I've been in a street fight and defeated 7 men with my boxing before. Get the fuck out of here. You haven't seen your dick without standing on a mirror, man.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, let's not talk about that. So when you watch these videos, like I said, we're going back to social media. Why is there so many egos? Do you think? What's causing this lately? It's always been egos, but lately you see these arguments in forums and these arguments.
Why? That's easy, because their ass is safe behind glass, and they're confrontational people. If they're confrontational people on glass, they're confrontational people in the real world. They let this shit consume them. Like all of a sudden, it always makes me wonder: do these motherfuckers ever read a book? Mm-hmm. Is there anything besides what this shit is that they talk about all day? And do they have anything else in their life?
I can't do it, man. I can't do it. Even when I was on FMA discussion, it was eating me all the time. And I was a moderator, and I could see all these fucking people talking about, well, this guy's stick, he's not doing it right. He needs to put his back foot back and his front foot forward. And it's like, everybody's a fucking coach, and it's like as another thing that's kind of turned me off. Like I haven't been on social media a whole lot lately, and when I do post on my social media, I don't post like rarely like fucking any martial arts stuff on there.
Yeah.
Don't really post training because you know my training is my own. You know, I mean, I don't want to fucking advertise it to the world. I mean,
I'm the same way.
I do. You know what I mean? But there's only a few people that I value on social media, you being one of them, for just honesty and brutal reality of what, you know, of what happens and what shit they post. And you don't just post martial arts stuff, you post stuff about life, you know, about being a better person, which leads me to my next question. We're talking about nutrition. And I see nutrition is, I mean, I'm not saying I fucking, you know, ate cauliflower and fucking tofu all day. I love barbecue, and I know you made a comment a while back, and like these greasy son of a bitches are eating their ribs and their brisket, and that was like, oh fuck, that's me he's talking about. You know what I mean? But I do work out. You know, I do keep, you know, in reasonable shape.
You can eat anything you want, man, if you train right and you eat right, and you don't go into crazy 5,000 calorie.
Yeah.
I had a badass cheeseburger tonight, man, with a beautiful brioche bun with lettuce and tomato. You know, I eat what I want to eat because I train so hard. But the key to it all is, dude, you got to move. Mm-hmm. You got to move. And I try to eat real clean. And by clean, I don't mean, just bird food. I mean, I try to eat mostly organic stuff. I love to cook. My mom, since my wife passed, my mom comes over every day because she lives around the corner and does all the cooking for me and my daughter. So it's all
man.
Hell yeah. But yeah, I'm big on nutrition, man, because without nutrition, if you don't have the proper fuel in the furnace, man, the fire ain't gonna be worth a damn.
Why do you think it's not? Why do you think it's not emphasized as much in the arts now? Like, why do people not emphasize?
Because people like being a fat fuck. They like it. Let's be honest, man. People they like their life the way it is. People like their comfort. They believe that they're martial art, even though they can't see their feet. They believe that what they're doing is somehow going to get them to the promised land of combat. They're hoping this great combat fight happens, that they can use their martial art just the way they learned it. All this stuff, they live in this Middieville, man. They live up here because until the day comes when some big son of a bitch with a high point puts it in their fucking head. Now what? You know? Because a lot of people are Walter Middies, man. They live in this fantasy world of what they think is going to happen because their instructor said, oh, this is how you do this. Mm-hmm. They never take it out of the box. They never look at it. They never look into the mirror. That's how I had to get right, man. I looked in the mirror 6 years ago, and I saw a 336 fat piece of shit who couldn't see anything except a whiskey bottle and a burger. That's it. And I'm talking burgers. I drank through depression. I drank myself and cocaine and all this stuff. I got myself up to 336 pounds of nothing but goo, man. I had to look in a mirror and be honest with myself and say, you ain't what you're telling everybody you are. Get right. You know, that's when I started getting right.
How do we get more people with proper nutrition? Like, what do we do like to like
just try to put it out there in a positive way, but don't be afraid to hurt feelings. If somebody comes, like I had clients come to me for yoga and or for martial arts training, and their bellies are out to here. They can't hardly move. They're already having neuropathy problems in their feet. They're in their 30s. They're already having heart attacks, palpitations, all these things. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell them straight up and honest, dude, you're out. I need to get you in shape before you even do martial arts. Let's get you flexible. Let's get you working. And I tell everybody where I started was Diamond Dallas Page's Yoga, DDPY. That's where I try to start everybody. Buy the app, get a mat every day, do what it says on the app, and it will work. If you work it. If you don't work it, it ain't going to work. But you're never going to outwork a shitty diet. If you're still slapping back 5 bags of peanut M&Ms a day, no matter how hard you work out, it's still not going to work.
And those life choices, like even me, I don't drink soda anymore. I cut soda like almost 2 years already. Yeah. It makes me sick. Yeah. Even candy bars, I can't eat like candy bars anymore. Like fucking gives me the shits, makes me sick. I just can't do it. I got rid of it.
My idea of when I eat snacks, I like fruits, fresh fruits. Yeah. A lot of times
I'll strawberries,
like a big old hunk of chicken, for a protein snack late at night if I'm hungry. Sometimes I'll just I have a lot of Greek yogurt I eat, put berries and honey with it and all that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's not hard, man. I mean, I eat. I'm big. I'm 6'5", almost 6'5", about 255, 265. I probably smash down 3,000 to 3,500 calories a day.
Yeah, you're a big guy. You need it. You need those
You know?
calories. Yeah. You can't be starving yourself and shit in there.
No.
I'll never give up barbecue, so that's not going to happen for me. But
No,
I can give up everything else.
You know what? I'm very picky of the barbecue I eat.
Mm.
You know, I'm very picky. I don't use a lot of sweet, sugary sauces.
I kind of go naked in my stuff now. Yeah.
You know, stuff like that.
Dry rubs. Yeah.
I like Jaime's barbecue. That fucker can barbecue his ass off.
Really? Well, I'm gonna have to go challenge him. So I tell him, hey, you want to do brisket? Or you want to do pulled pork or what? Because you know, we could do it. I went to culinary school, so but I've been I never sought out to be a culinary person. I use my GI Bill. I'm like, fuck it, I'll pick culinary and I'll cook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something to do. But I have about 12 smokers, so I have different smokers outside. And I barbecue pretty much every fucking day. Like I'm out there. That smokestack is going like all the time. And the kids are always bitching, you know, like barbecue again. I'm like, fuck, you could be eating cold rat meat. You know, you're eating fucking St. Louis ribs and eating chicken. Right. But it's like, as far as the nutrition, you're dead on. It's all about about the willpower to do it. So do you want to better yourself? Because it also
willpower. Everything you want to accomplish in life, if you don't, it all starts with willpower above all else. If you don't have the will to do it, you'll never do it. You can have the mindset, oh, I'm going to do it, or the heart, they say. But if you don't have the will to get your ass up and go, it's not going to happen. You know, it's just not going to happen. There's a lot of days I wake up and I don't want to do shit and train, but you know what I do? I go do it anyhow. You know.
I tell you, as a person who's a big inspiration, and he's in the comments right now, and he actually has a question for you. It's Mr. Eric Harris, and he has advice. He wants advice for anyone who's chairbound like himself. Oh, I think we lost him again, guys. It happened. Oh, sorry. Are you there? I think we lost him. Okay. Did you hear my question?
No, I didn't hear the question.
Oh, okay. I said there's a person that's a real big inspiration, like to me and like a lot of other people, and he's Mr. Eric Harris. He's in the comment section, and he had a question for you, and he wanted to thank you for all you do, and he also want to know, do you have any advice for someone like him who's chairbound?
Don't worry about being chairbound. Just do everything to the best of your ability and keep on pushing. Fuck that chair. You are who you are, man. Just be you and work hard. It'll all come. It'll all work, man.
Mr. Jason Schultz says they got nothing else. Those who have time to criticize aren't doing anything with theirs. He's absolutely right. I know we talked about like nutrition and the value of it and stuff like that. And like these all things go hand in hand: mindset, nutrition, movement, footwork. With the Medusa system, and we're talking about we got all off track. We're talking about like the knife and stuff like that in Medusa. I know you emphasize a lot of like the old school like techniques, brass knuckles, saps, blackjacks.
Yeah.
I see a lot of that coming back. Like
it never left, brother. It never left.
Just people are advertising.
Yeah, let's be honest with you. I'm more apt to use a sap or a set of nuts or a short knife or a blade or a revolver before I am a stick, a Joe, anything like that, because those are things I can hide on me and they're legal. Down in Texas, I carry all that sometimes.
Are automatic knives legal in Texas?
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah. And so if I can carry them, why don't I train with them? Oh, I got my knuckles all the time, man. I take them out, bap, bap, shoot the bag, bap, 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 hit. A lot of times I'll take out my training knife or my live blades, work them. Sap all the time. I got probably 20 saps I use. I got one that's all beat to piss. I'm just hitting trees with the damn thing because you're building up power. But yeah, train with what you use, man. Train always. I got an old class ring I wear sometimes. I turn that bitch around with a big old nugget down here.
Hit it, slap, yeah.
Yeah.
Right behind the ear.
Because it's all, I mean, it doesn't matter. That's what I loved about Wing Chun, man. Everybody thinks Wing Chun is some type of a secret squirrel science martial art because of the Ip Man movies. Wong Shong Leong said it best, dude. Wing Chun is about hitting. If you're not hitting, what the fuck are you doing? Wing Chun is about hitting. And everybody thinks Wing Chun just punches here. That's one shot. We have every shot that boxing has. We have here, we have the overhands, we have hooks, we have uppercuts, We have elbows. We have down. We have all that. We have chin now within it, which chin now everybody knows is what? Stand-up grappling, seizing, breaking, flesh. We have throws in Wing Chun that people are like, oh, Wing Chun doesn't have any throws. The hell we don't. It may not be a judo throw. It may not be set up like a judo throw would be. But guess what? Stepping in and stepping behind a guy in schoolyard dumping his ass is still schoolyard dumping him.
Doesn't matter what it is, yeah.
Dude, I've done it in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and sparring in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I put people on their ass using Wing Chun. I've used bong style to enter off a guy trying to clinch me. I've used bong style to tan style to grab and come in and clinch using Wing Chun and BJJ. And I did it in tournaments. You know, people, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm just doing this. That's all.
Do you consider, like, you know, people talk about when, you know, basic self-defense and like, well, you know, boxing and grappling is all you need. Would you add Wing Chun as well into that mix?
I would say whatever you can make work into the mix. I'm a big proponent of karate. I'm a Goju Kyokushin guy. Those low devastating kicks and those systems are nasty. So I put it into my Wing Chun. All those stomp kicks, all those low cut kicks, all those. You used to see Andy Hug kick. He was a Kyokushin guy where Muay Thai brings the leg down. Kyokushin kicks up the side of the leg, up underneath the caps. I put all that into the game, man. Old style karate, people, oh, that's too big of a chamber. Not when I got your face down here and I'm getting ready to torque. It all works, man. You just got to find out the nuances where everything fits. People get so in their head that, well, that's not going to work because I don't do it that way. I can't foresee that working. Well, shut the fuck up. You never trained everything. You know, that's like me saying Sambo doesn't ever work. I've never trained Sambo. I don't know. I can see Sambo, and I've never trained it. How do I know? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How do I know, right? You know, people say, I had a guy tell me one time that Shuaijiao, Chinese Shuaijiao, fast wrestling doesn't work. And then I watched him spar the guy, and the Shuaijiao guy spiked him on his head about 3 times. And he was a wrestler. And the Shuaijiao guy just showed him what Shuaijiao was, man. It's grappling, you know? So I don't get hooked up into when people say, oh, that's never going to work, or Wing Chun is this, Wing Chun is that. Your Wing Chun is that because you saw an Ip Man movie and that's what you think it is. And shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about.
So people got to do their research more besides.
Some people need to come cross hands.
Yeah.
Because when I've fought a lot of guys using Wing Chun. And everybody thinks we're going to set up here. No, I'm setting up right fucking here, man. It's the same thing. If that's Man Sao, speaking hand, and this is Wu Sao, guarding hand, why can't it be right here? It's the same damn thing. I don't always have to Tan Sao here. Or why can't I do this? I don't always have to punch here. Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? You can do what you want. You got to make it your own, man. That's why I love coming out of my Sifu Dustin Carroll's my main teacher. He comes out of the Duncan Leung lineage. And that's the lineage of make it work for yourself, man. Make it work for yourself. Matter of fact, Duncan, when you go train with him, I haven't yet, but I'm going to try to. It's a 6-week crash course in Hong Kong with him. And the last 2 weeks, every day, you're fighting Thai boxers. Part of your tuition goes to bring in professional Thai boxers. And now you're going to put your Wing Chun that you're learning from Duncan against Thai boxers. That's some good shit.
And I'm glad that I started out in Muay Thai because like it set me up. I didn't know shit about punches or kicks or teep or or elbows, especially elbows. And
Muay Thai is nasty, man.
Yeah, it set me up like for the future. Like when I first went into FMA after that, like oh, you know how to punch, how to elbow, and I was like, dude, like come here, like what, kid, elbow, and just like
they got that little up elbow that shoots.
Yeah. I hear. It just set me up I'm glad I did it because if I wouldn't have done it, I don't think I would have ever gotten to any kind of martial art after that. Like after I left, I was like, I'm not gonna do that shit. I mean, I just like just do street fighting, whatever. But I'm glad it set me up for future to do other martial arts, And I never went back to it, and I probably should. What I mean?
Yeah.
But like I've got what I got from it, and I kind of moved on, and I've added it into other things. Yeah. And I'm taking right now Adrenaline Combatives with Julian AC. Yeah. Julian Asson, and I don't know if you've seen his shit. His shit's phenomenal.
Yeah, I've seen him. He's good.
I know Lee Morrison. Yeah, Lee Morrison. It's just man, he's like, man, the elbow? We were doing elbows. And he's actually coming here this year in the United States. Yeah,
I saw something that he was going to be heading this way. Yeah, he's a nice dude. I like him. I've talked to him a few times. He's a good guy. I like Lee Morrison stuff too. all the I do a lot of the I don't know what some people call it defense labs. Some people call it kisi, the shield, all these methods.
Yeah.
I learned all that, believe it or not, I learned all that in Goju karate. All those shields, when you're here, then you drop into here, and then you're here, all those type of movements, the shields and the helmets. I learned all that in a Goju karate because it came right out of the kata, saifa, boom, boom, And so then when I had a buddy of mine who was a defense labs instructor, and I started training with him for about a year, and he really honed it for me. And so I put that into my Wing Chun as well, so we could be fighting, boom, 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 and all of a sudden it gets hairy, boom, I can cover up any place I want to cover up. And it just starts to become you. All the stuff you learn, man, you just start to blend it, make it you.
But what do you think karate and Wing Chun get like a bad rap? Like people like look down on it, kind of like
because most of the karate they see, they only equate it to, if it's not Masoyama karate, they haven't seen a whole lot of it because they've never trained it. And they know for a fact, they believe that karate is what you see in America with the big Gazoo helmets and the big puffy pads. Most of that's not karate, man. That's that American karate bullshit. I trained the real McCoy Japanese Goju in the Peter Urban lineage. Brother, let me tell you what. I don't care what anybody says. If you put somebody in that ring against a good karate man, and you're fighting Ippon or you're fighting Kyokushin, you better bring your fucking lunch because it was bare knuckle. And sure, you weren't allowed to hit the face, but I tell you what, my nose was splattered a bunch of times. Man, and so people look at karate and they automatically think kids tournaments, big foam pads, because they don't have any, they don't do their due diligence. Go see a Sabaki championship. I fought that shit, man. I didn't walk for a week and a half one time after one of those Kyokushin weekends. I was bruised from ankle to hip. And that's just, and it was about, wasn't really who was the best karateka. It was who could take the most shit. I've had broken eardrums, broken noses, broken hand. Hell, I had my little toe snapped in half. Kicked the guy on a side kick. And when he went and he hit it, I caught myself in his gi sleeve with my little toe, and he ripped. And the toe.
And I think too, people ought to get like they see in the movies, and like from at least where I live out here, most of the karate dojos here are full kids, like from age 5 to like 15. You don't see any adults in there. It's mostly all just kids.
Real Japanese karate, real Okinawan karate. If you're learning it the old school way, you'll chase people out of the dojo. When I was coming up through Goju, our classes were 2.5 to 3 hours per class. And you started, of course, with the stretching. Usually 10, 15 minutes get you warmed up. And then came the punching drills, right? And then came the kihon drills, up and down the floor, snapping, pow, punching, high block, punch, and you're going back and forth on the floor, going forward, going back. And then it's 100 front kicks with the right leg, 100 front kicks with the left leg, 100 side kicks with the right, 100. And dude, it's just for the first hour of class. By the time you got into learning any type of kata and bunkai breakdown, you were just fucked. Your body. Yeah. I remember that first 6-7 months in Goju, we must have had 25, 30 people through the door, and only me and a guy named Aaron Pullen lasted. That's how bad it was. I mean, I broke hands. I mean, every push-up was on knuckles on a wood floor. Every throw was on that, how they had that springy wood floor. Everything was on that. And just like they say in Mr. Miyagi, at the end of class, brother, it was wax on, wax off. You know why? Because for conditioning, you would have to stay on all fours, but off of your knees and move down the floor, washing it. All the students washing it, and then the next student drying it. That's how we cleaned the floor. But you got in shape doing that shit, and that's what that was for. And then Kamishiwadi, breaking, hand conditioning. I got huge knuckles from Makiwara boards. I mean, just Lakan. And man, it was.
Speaking of the hand conditioning, I had Jason is watching right now. He actually had when I took a couple classes with him, he was talking about, because I work with metal. I mean, I do sheet metal, fabrication, welding, machine work, all stuff. And he's like, get a piece of T6. He's like, and just kind of hit it, and like hit it, And I've been doing that for like the last couple of months, and I've noticed, my hand has gotten stronger by hitting that piece of aluminum, all the time and watching TV, as big as fucking feeding my face, I'm like, give me that piece of metal. I'm sitting there like, watching the game, whenever, and just like, my kids are like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm conditioning my hand. And it actually works. Now, I actually thank him for giving me that suggestion of
I use a big old stone I have. It's got a little groove already worn in it. Big old stone, river stone.
Yeah, it actually works. And I don't see a whole lot of people doing conditioning like that, hand conditioning, in arts.
The old ways are the old ways, man. I mean, I'm 60 years old. I came up doing this stuff in the late 70s, 80s, 90s, back, when before Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu hit. So over here, I mean, there was judo and karates and everything. And the East Coast of karate, man, was banging, dude. There was guys up there who flat kill you. Peter Urban was one. You had Thomas LaPuppet was another guy. You had John Oliver was a guy. You had all these great Heidi Ochiai, all these guys up there. Ron Takanashi, the last American who ever committed seppuku in Central Park, killed himself. He was dying of cancer. He went in there one morning, opened up his gi, killed himself. Man. You had Frank Ruiz, the guy who stopped. He dumbass literally stopped the moving car, fucked him all up, and he did it. Yeah. But so we had that mentality of tough guys, man, hood rat guys from New York City, and the New York City karate scene at one time, man, you'd get your shit pushed in really hard. You fuck up there because these were tough dudes. These weren't nice people doing karate. These were rough guys. My instructor was from Bedford-Stuyvesant, New York City. Kiyoshi Wright, big brother. He was also a war veteran, a tanker. He had that whole really militaristic mindset. Mm-hmm. And when you trained with this guy, man, there wasn't none of this hi-ya, pull your punch shit. I mean, I came out of there green stem several times, like I said, cuts, the whole 9 yards. He was teaching you to fight with karate. And those lessons I hold dear. And that's why I incorporate a lot of Goju into what I do, because it's very similar to Wing Chun in a lot of manners. The hitting is hitting. And if you're not hitting in a street fight, what the hell are you doing? Yeah. I'm not looking to grapple you. I'm looking to smack you.
Take you out.
If I have to grapple, I have to grapple. But let's be honest. In a street fight, if I know it's going to go and I can see it's going to go, why am I waiting? Most people will wait because they're afraid of the ramifications of going first. Yeah. If you go second, you end up, fuck that.
And that's what Julian's been teaching me, like, because obviously he does close quarter protection, and he also works the doors at the club. Yeah. And I always pick his brain, he's like, I'm showing you this for a reason, because this is what I use when I throw guys out of the club. And he's talking about preemptiveness, you're not going to sit there, your hands are up, whatever, you're moving your hands, whatever, and bam, you know what I mean? Just a non-telegraphic striking. And I think he excels in that. And I think that, a lot of people are afraid to go first because all that's, the fucking cell phones now. Everybody's this guy punched him first. I saw it, you know what I mean? And I know the rules are different in UK, and I do tell them that, hey, man, we train, I know the rules are different in UK because they're allowed to go first over there. Yeah. Without any ramifications. You're defending your life. Here, if I fucking hammer fist top of somebody's nose, then I start hammer fisting their brainstem and someone's filming me, then it might look different, where New Mexico's
of course. I mean, and like I said, I can only use myself. I'm 6'5", 2 whatever, and I got a tap full of tattoos. Somebody puts me on film, I make world stars.
You're the bad guy.
Number one, I'm going to be a racist. Number two, I'm going to be this. Number three, I'm going to be that. Number four, I'm going to be this. I don't give a fuck, basically, because like I said, I'm 60 years old. I got more water under the bridge than I got in front of the bridge. So fuck it. Dox me. I don't give a shit.
You were talking about those tough guys you're talking about when you're, New York and in different parts of the state or the country. Do we have any of those guys left, in your opinion? Did anybody come to mind that you name that?
Yeah, like that. I'll tell you, a real tough son of a bitch. You've had him on your show, Court Bolton.
Yeah.
Court Bolton's a real tough son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Well, how do I know that? I've trained with him. And he's big and he's strong and he's fast and he's knowledgeable and he's mean. He's put more people in pine boxes than probably anybody I know. He was an Army Ranger, all those tours. He done his shit. He's one. Mark Human is another buddy of mine from South Africa, world-class trainer. And that little banty rooster, he'll pine box you. My buddy Scotty Chamberlain, he may be all fucked up with a prosthetic leg and a fucked up arm, but that Aussie will there's a lot of hard dude, but you know what? All these guys, my daughter calls all these guys uncle. When they come to see her, it's hugs and kisses and candy and all this stuff. They're sweet, they're good men. But when you put that push on them, and if I can make a call right now, if shit broke, and they'd be on their way here. They're hard men, you know.
It's the guys that are quiet, because I don't really see a big social media presence. Any of the people you've mentioned. So it's those quiet guys like that, the ones who've seen the real shit, who really are the guys that you have to watch out for. Not the guys that are fucking, I'm doing this fucking flow drill, and the pretend guys, I call them. Those guys who've seen the real things are people that, me personally, I seek out for training. Yeah. I did seek out people before that had theories of how things are supposed to go. But never been in actual real violence, or never been in a situation, it's just like, well, I think it might go this way. And I've kind of like steered myself away from it. Yeah. Like recently from training from those people, because I want the people that have been in the shit, who've seen it, and then tell me, hey, you're wasting your fucking time doing this. You need to do this, because this is going to save your life. This shit you're doing here is not going to save your life. And those are the people that I gravitate towards now. Yeah.
And you got to, and even then you got to be careful, man, because you got to make sure whatever it is you go to train has value to you. It has to have value to you. I mean, I could go and train wushu, but if I can't make it work, I'm wasting my time. Yeah. And it's the same thing. You got to be respectful. I'm respectful of everybody who does any art, because it's what you want to do. Mm-hmm. You just want to pay bills and go get exercise. Groovy, man. If that's what you want to do, cool. Go. I have no problem. But where my peeve comes in is when people who have no clue put everything that you do or anything that they see into one bag. And I'll just use Wing Chun. People put Wing Chun in one bag. Joe Rogan puts Wing Chun in one bag, until some other people like Tony Ferguson and those guys started breaking some of it out in the UFC, and it worked. And then all of a sudden, whoa, Wing Chun. If you look at John Jones, a lot of the stuff John Jones does, I'm looking like, oh, okay, that's a Joe Girk. Ah, okay, that's a bong style when he enters. He does a lot of stuff. Oh, that little teep kick that he does, what they call an oblique kick. Yeah, that's so Girk for us. So I see it. So it's there. It might be called something different, but everybody's gonna say what they know is better, or that what they do is better. And then of course they're gonna challenge you to come on the mat and challenge me. Well, why do I need to come challenge you on the mat, dude? You're the one talking shit. Yeah. You just got to get rid of the egos. Are horrible in this game, man. That's the worst part about this whole martial art world, is the people.
I agree. I totally agree with that. A lot of dickheads out there. A lot of people I don't see any value in. I've gotten rid of contact with a lot of people that I used to.
Oh yeah, me too. I don't even. They'll ask me to do something. I've had guys like, I'm trying to get back out on the workshops, man. I want to start traveling, doing some more workshops for people. But there's been some people that they try to dictate what they want me to teach them, and they dictate price, they dictate this, they dictate. I'm like, no, I ain't got time for that, man. I've been doing this shit. I started my 46th year today. I started my 46 years doing this stuff. I don't have time for that bullshit. I'm going to come up there and teach you. I'm going to assess who you are and assess your group, and I'm going to work it from there. I'll give you an overview of what we're going to work over. Most people don't want it because it's going to be guttural. It's going to be the first thing is footwork. First part of the day, we're going to go do footwork. We're going to check your wind. We're going to drop you down for some push-ups. We're going to do some crazy shit let's see what you can do. And now we can start. Once I got you burned, if you're fresh, you can do anything. If I burn you out a little bit, now let's see if you can put this into the game. Yeah.
I like the way we were talking about, you emphasize like blunt force weapons like saps and tactical flashlights, stuff like that. And like I said, for me, like recently, I haven't been carrying a knife that much. I've been carrying mostly, saps, flashlights, stuff like that, a tactical pen. Because I find that, for me, it's like I'd rather use that than a knife. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's just me, my personal thing. But I've been training
a sap is just as nasty as a knife will ever be. You get yourself. I use Bad Love leathers. Most of my guys, Travis, if you're listening, this is for you. I get Bad Love leather saps, man. He makes them for me. I got like 11 and a half ounces of dynamite, man. And you hit with the edge of that thing, whatever you hit, you're going to destroy with it.
Yeah, destroy.
So 5 o'clock, that fight's over because all he's going to be doing is screaming.
Why do you think that knife is emphasized so much other than like these kind of weapons?
Because it's cool.
Cooler with a knife, yeah.
People want to be cool, man. People got to be cool. They want to be the badass. Movies like The Hunted and all these movies come out about knife, and these people think that this is this ultimate martial art where their knife is going to come out, it's going to happen. But they never once realized the ramifications of what they're about to do. They don't even realize, dude, their possibility of them stabbing themselves in that fracas is pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or sliding down your handle. I've been cut, like I said. I've been stabbed. I've used steel. Blood gets all over the fucking place, man. And that shit gets slippery. I don't give a fuck what kind of knife handle you have. That shit gets slippery as hell. If you don't have a pommel, sliding right down is easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, overkill is easy to do. When you're afraid and in a rage, man, it's all easy to do. Now all of a sudden I didn't mean to kill him, but I don't need that shit. I'd rather smoke or I'd rather drink some tea and read a book, dude. I don't go out and do anything like that no more, man.
Yeah.
I'm not in the streets.
I notice there's a lot of people now that are teaching it more often, like the sap and the blackjack, and brass knuckles and stuff like that. Rather than
I see a lot of the videos of guys doing brass knuckles, and it's okay, man. I mean, I ain't got nothing against nobody. Do your thing, but goddamn, why do you make it so hard, man? Mm-hmm. It's a set of brass knuckles. How about a nice jab, man? Pap, pap, double jab with brass knuckles.
Doesn't take much, yeah.
You know, you don't need to sit there and do the 52 dances of death. It's not about. That's why on my little thing, all I showed was 2 or 3 different things: a body shot, break the sternum, boom, that fight's over there. You can't breathe. Hook the ribs, crack some ribs right here. He can't breathe. Bust the nose, right? Double jab, crack, crack.
Simple.
Just have good mechanics. Move off the line. Bomb. Make sure you got a good defense and fire. It's not hard. Everybody tries to make it the Magic Mystery Tour, and it's not. But the Magic Mystery Tour sells and people make money.
Cool movements.
Yeah, I call that, man. I'm 60 years old, man. My days of cool movements left with frickin' Soul Train, man.
What are your thoughts on World War II combatives?
I like it. My dad taught me combat judo.
Yeah.
And that was, that's what they called it in the 101st was combat judo. It's nothing hard. Wing Chun's got everything in it that combat judo ever had in it. Palm, eye gouge, punch, reaping throw, chop, eye gouge, everything that's in Wing Chun. My dad taught me in World War II combatives what they call combat judo. Everything that the chopping, boom, was in karate, everything. And so it's beautiful, man. It's simple. I teach it all, but I teach it out of the Wing Chun package, which is very simple because it teaches the mechanics, it teaches breathing, it teaches stuff to keep you going, man.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned about traveling like the seminar circuit and doing like different like stuff like that. Would you ever want to go overseas?
Yeah, I'd love to go back overseas, man. I'm planning a trip to the Philippines to go see Yuli right now. Mm-hmm. Go over and do some more Filipino shit because that crazy old bastard, he shows some good stuff when you're personal with him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'll take it anywhere they want it. I'll go. I don't give a shit where. If you want it, you got the money to pay me, and you're decent people. I'll bring it to you. I got no qualms. I'm not like a lot of guys. I'm not asking for the kitchen sink. My prices are reasonable, and I teach 6 to 7 hour workshops. I like to do 2.5 days. Friday, meet and greet, little workout, get to know everybody, and then get to work Saturday and Sunday, man. That's what I like to do. And I didn't. The only reason I stopped doing it is my wife passed away, and I had 2 kids I was raising. I couldn't travel. It was just me.
But what's your dream place you'd like to teach?
Oh, my dream place. I'd like to teach in Europe. I'd like to go to UK. I'd like to go to my mother's country of Germany. I'd like to go to Russia. I've always wanted to go to Russia and teach. I know people. I got some good friends from there who live in the States now, and they always tell me how beautiful it is, and that those type of places. I've been all over Europe when I was in the service. I'd love to go back and bring what I do over there. I mean, I wrote a lot of articles for Martial Art Magazine that was out of the UK, several issues of that, got articles in, and it was all planned out to go over there, and then my wife got sick, and that all fell apart,
So, like anywhere like in Asia, like Japan or something like that, or something.
Yeah, I'll go anywhere, dude. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I'll go anywhere. I'll go to Mexico. I'll go to South America. I don't care. I'll go anywhere.
So
Because
if someone wants to set up a seminar with you, how do they do that?
all they got to do is contact me via Facebook or mblackrave@gmail.com. Let's talk, get on the phone, and we'll set it up, man. Have skills will travel. And I guarantee you, you're going to learn something. You're not going to learn a lot because I don't teach a lot. I can't be one of those guys that teach you 40 things, but whatever I teach you, it's going to be simple, to the point, nasty, and something that you can work after I leave. And you're like, wow, fuck, this is nice.
And people can also seek you out, right? They can travel to your place.
Yeah, anybody wants. My Ludus doors are always up, dude. I teach. I have group classes on Tuesday and Thursday nights, but I'll accommodate people's schedules if they can't make it. Just come by, man. We can work. I do private lessons, group lessons. I just like to train, man. You know, like I said, when I bring you into my school here at my house, it's my Ludus, man. And you know, my mom's usually here watching my daughter. When you become my student, man, you become my family. All my guys get cookies at Christmas and gifts, and everything is really cool here, man. My mom takes care of everybody, and I have a small group, but a good group. You know, I lost quite a few students when COVID hit, but slowly but surely, you know, Jaime is one of my guys. Jaime used to come up and do workshops with me, and I used to go down there for him. And it's just you got to love what you do, you know.
Do you do online classes or no?
No, I don't do any online for one simple reason. I'm old school. You got to feel it. There's too many nuances that I got to teach you, especially when you're starting to talk Wing Chun. I could show you a Bong Sao, but if you know, how am I going to correct it if you're not feeling it? If you can't stop this with your Bong Sao, right? And I get, oh no, raise it. No, it has to push out. No, this has to be here. No, drive with your shoulder. You know, raise it lower, because Bong Sao can do so many things. It can rise, it can cut. It can go low, it can go high, it can lead into all different things. You know, nothing hard, but you got to feel it. You know, I'm old school in that way. Every teacher I've ever had taught me that they got to feel it to get it. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely said. So, what do you see yourself like in a couple of years from now? You still going to be doing this like rest of your life?
Yeah. Yeah, I ain't going nowhere. I'm only 60, dude. I ain't dead. You know, at 60, I feel like I'm 30. And like I said, I was grappling in tournaments with 27, 28-year-olds and winning, holding my own, dude. You know, and that was just using BJJ rules. Same with the catch. I was in there wrestling when I was last year before my injury at 59. I was grappling D2 wrestlers and holding my own with them, you know, doing catch. You know, and I hadn't been doing it that long, but it's just martial arts is martial arts. If you understand motion, you understand movement, and you see similarities, but more importantly, you can feel similarities. It's not that hard, you know. When you collar and elbow a guy, right? Boom, here. Well, what the fuck? That's a foot style. That's a foot style. Pop, snap him in. But instead of just snapping him in, hit him in the back of the head when you snap him in. Elbow to center so he can't push you out. All the basic stuff. It's just right there. And once you understand that, you're like, well, shit, we do that already. You know? So you find the similarities.
Is there any new arts out there you would like to, like, besides wrestling and BJJ, I know you do that, any other arts you'd like to get into, like maybe start to
learn? The only thing that I really would like to delve deeper into, and I'm talking on a real deep base, and it's going to sound weird to you, I've always had and I'm going to start training it. It's Aishinryu Bato Jutsu, the katana.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there was an old book called Flashing Steel with Pellman Sensei. It's called Flashing Steel, and he moved to San Antonio. He has a little dojo over here, and he teaches Daito-Ryu, which is another art that I've always wanted to learn. He teaches Daito-Ryu, and he teaches Aishin-Ryu, what they call Iaido, but it's Bato Jutsu. And if for no other reason, everything I've read about it helps calm the mind. It's solitary training. It's about positioning. It's about accuracy. It's about all these things. And to me, at my age now, I've done all the bang and I've done all the crazy shit. I'd like to get deep into here. And I think those type of arts like Daito and that would help me do that. You know, because it's softer, it's more flowing. And I just think it'd be a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've noticed like a lot of like philosophical stuff, like which leads me to my next thing with a question by Nair Adasor or Ryan Rosado, right? That's his name.
Yeah.
Backwards. He wants to know what your favorite books are.
My all-time favorite book is by Fyodor Dostoevsky, Crime and Punishment. Another one of my favorite books is Old Man and the Sea by Hemingway. I also like military books. I love The Five Fingers by Gail Rivers. I think that's a great book. I read every day, dude. I read for a minimum of an hour to an hour and a half a day. And I'm reading so many books. The Homilies of St. Isaac, the Syrian. I'm an Orthodox Christian, so I have a ton of Orthodox Christian books on different saints, on warrior saints, female saints, and their lives and their tumultuous way they grew up. And there are days that make ours look like patty cake, the way these people grew up and how they came into their own. And I read that stuff. I'm reading a book right now called Everything is Nothing by, it's a book on the accounts of Red Cloud, the great war chief. And dude, I'm getting ready to start another Hemingway book that Mr. Keating put up, Men Without Women. Anything that catches my interest, dude, I'm just all over it. But when it comes to my favorites, Dostoevsky by a long shot. You know,
but the stimulating the mind is essential for any kind of growth, especially in martial arts. And
not only stimulating the mind, calming the mind. My reading, I get up extra early. I take my daughter to school every day, but I get up a couple hours early every morning. I stretch out a little bit. I have my coffee. I sit in my chair and I open my book in complete silence, and I just read. And that's what starts my day every day.
I used to do mine when, like, right before bed. Like, I mean, the classic,
Yeah.
Leave It to Beaver shit. You turn the lamp on, you got your glass on, you read the book, and then you put it like I go to sleep. That's what I do.
I read the script. I read scripture quite a bit too. I read the Bible quite a bit too. I read everything, anything I can throw my my heart and my mind into. Man, I'm down for it. Let's read it.
Definitely stimulating the mind and calming.
I love reading Russian philosophy, Berdyaev, Lev Shestov. I love reading poetry, but Pushkin, all these type of guys, Lermontov. I got into the Russian stuff. Well, of course, becoming Eastern Orthodox, Russian Orthodox. I just started reading all about this, and it just took me away. So deep.
So the religious stuff like that, how's that play into your training? Does it play any factor at all?
No. As an Orthodox Christian, I always say there's Christianity and then there's Orthodox Christianity. 33 AD, brother. That's the one and holy apostolic church is the Orthodox Church. It's the oldest church. It's Catholicism, but it's Eastern Catholicism. As you can see on my wall, that's just one wall of icons back here. I'm in my icon room, my prayer room. And as an Orthodox Christian, I'm told and I'm taught that defending yourself is mandatory. Defending your faith is mandatory. Defending your family is mandatory. That's why I have a very, very practical mindset when it comes to self-defense and preservation. We have a saying, if I die before I die, when I die, I'll never die. So with that in my heart, I don't worry about being attacked. I don't worry about dying. I don't worry about any of those things, man. We're already gone, brother. It's just a matter of time, but while I'm here on this earth, it's my job to protect my loved ones, family, and the innocent in my faith. Simple.
And I think a lot of spirituality plays a lot of. I know me and Julian talked about this. He's like into the metaphysical stuff, different spiritual dimensions, different auras, stuff like that, chakra. I recently came back from Sedona, and I actually have a friend who's a psychic. She does a lot of chakra and Native American healing and stuff like that. I've always been. You probably see my thing. I've been fascinated with the different kinds of magic, different kinds of religions. Recently, last couple of years, I did a lot of Haitian voodoo, different kinds of voodoo, like the Afro-Caribbean nations, just different kinds of reading about, different, Native American science, Native American shamanic magic, stuff like that. And I found that, reading about a lot of religious and spiritual stuff has actually cleared my mind. As far as when it comes to training and stuff like that, I'm able to clear, before I do my training. I don't do yoga or anything. I've never done that. I've tried to one time.
I'll be honest with you, brother. If you want the mysteries, if you want the greatest mystery of all, one Sunday morning, find an Orthodox church and go to the Divine Liturgy. And then you go to the Divine Liturgy and stand there for 2 hours and listen. and take it all in, your mind will go. It's the same words, the same verbiage, the same lineage that Paul was preaching when the time of Christ. That's why it's from 33 AD. Christ was 33 when he was martyred. But when you go to a divine liturgy, everything, it's not like Christianity, Joel Osteen. This is ancient. I'm talking ancient. You know, everything there, the incense, the atmosphere, the feeling. We stand, we don't sit for 2 hours. That cuts the chaff right there. A lot of people can't do that. But who are we to sit? You know, when he was crucified. So we stand there, and there's a lot of times, man, I'm like, golly. But I tell you what, the mysteries, that's why we call the divine liturgy the holy mysteries. It's that deep. And a lot of people, they don't understand what Christianity is. They believe it's this new world age, this new age stuff, playing rock guitar on a stage, all this secular bullshit. I tell them, go to an Orthodox divine liturgy and just open your mind, and you'll just be like, wow. It'll blow your mind. It'll totally blow your mind in a good way. In a good way, where you start inquiring, like, what is this, man? That's how I started, dude. And then now I got a spiritual father who's a monk on a mountain in Lebanon, dude. You know, and I talk to him, and sometimes my priest, he's a theologian, and the way he can talk to you and the things he's studied and seen, he's the one who brought me through my wife's passing by the book of Job, of all things. You know, I would have never bought into that in a million years until, you know, I hit that rock bottom and sat there and talked to the man and listened for the first time. I was just, wow. I go to monasteries where the monks, all they do is work, physical labor, and pray all day. That's it. And these people are spiritual fathers, and when they start to talk to you, you would wonder, how does he know all this? How does he know this? Well, he knows it because he's connected where, you know? He's living that life where he can see through you like that. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
I'm actually reading a book right now. I forgot, I was going to show it, about the Spear of Destiny. You know, talking about how the Nazis and how different people all over time have been looking for that with the spear. You know, that one that pierced Christ.
Yeah,
it's a fascinating book.
Spear of Destiny, the spear that Pontius Pilate.
Yeah, it's a great book. I mean, I started barely delving into it, but it talks about, you know, how all these people have been trying to seek this power, looking for this thing since the Nazis, before the Nazis.
Yeah,
everybody's been looking for this, the spear, kind of like the Ark of the Covenant, and trying to, withhold the power from the spear. And when I first started reading it, some of the stuff in there was like, I couldn't believe like how government spent millions of dollars trying to look for this thing.
Governments ain't worth a shit. Look at our own. I mean, it's always been hook and crook bastards. They spend, billions of dollars to find, the testicle side of a tsetse fly. You know what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, while people are starving in the streets, and in our own country, they don't give a shit. That's why they're governments.
Now more than ever, when people come to you for training, with the way the world's going, the way that our country's going, do you kind of instill them like, look, dude, like the shit's about to get real here. Like this is what you're gonna need this kind of training to like.
I got a few guys that I can talk to like that, but for the most part, man, I try to keep all that on the back burner. If they got questions, I'll talk to them about it. But I'm about business, man. You're coming here for a reason. What's that reason? Okay, you want to learn how? Okay, let's get busy. Now, during my teaching, a lot of times I'll talk to them and say, look, man, in this situation, I'll break down a situation and put them in a situation that could happen. But I don't try to push the end of the world type of scenario, man, because to me, like my buddy Mark Human always says, he goes, oh, end of the world, wonderful. Look at all the opportunities we're going to have to prove ourselves right.
Yeah.
So I don't see where a lot of people are afraid of impending doom. They're afraid of impending war. It is what it is, man. The only thing I worry about is I got a daughter here, and I'm trying to keep her as safe as I can.
Yeah.
That's why when people were asking me, are you going to go down to the border for the that big thing that we're down to the border? I'm like, no, I got no business down there, man. I got a daughter. If something happens to me,
you can't be doing that shit. Yeah.
That's like January 6th shit. I had people offering me to go there, and I'm like, nah. I could smell a setup a mile. Dude, I was a street guy. I could smell a setup a mile away, just like the shit at the border was a setup. Watch what happens in the next few months with that.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to be arresting people that were there. You'll see, it's gonna happen. It's not hard to see.
It's definitely going to go down definitely for sure.
Yeah.
And it's funny because people are so naive and they don't know what's even going on. It's like for the people like us that live on the border, like we see it all the time.
Yeah.
It's just I know what's going on. I see it every fucking day. You know, I go to work.
I don't have to go to the border. I can just drive right up the road to Texas City, right under I-35, right up here, 7 miles from my house.
Well, you heard what's going on in downtown El Paso, right? Like all the people that are wandering through there and everything.
We got them here too, dude. Yeah. It's crazy. We've got actually in San Antonio police officers in uniform with cop cars working for NGO, working for security for cartels that are running freaking kids in and out of these hostels here in San Antonio. It was all over the news here. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody gave a damn. Yeah. You know, they just deny it, and they got badges, and they got the money to back it, and they're in charge. So whatever you say doesn't matter. So why am I going to sit there and sweat it? You know, it's a goddamn thing you and I can do about it.
Yep, just gotta let it ride. Exactly.
Unless you knock on my door with shit, there ain't a whole hell of a lot I can do about any of it.
Nope, you're right. You're definitely right. But it's definitely getting crazy, and I think people can start opening their eyes and see what's going on, and but like you said, you can't save the world. You just got to worry about you and your family, and that's all really matters. Take care of yourself and stuff like that in there. But man, this has been fantastic. I appreciate you coming on. This has been great. I think we hope everybody enjoyed it. Like listening to you talk about your experiences and what your opinions on stuff, and we want to get you on there and just for you to express yourself. And I'm glad you were able to come on and do that.
Yeah, no problem.
Like I said, we don't filter, censor anybody. We kind of just keep people on, let them talk what they got to talk, and and go from there. But I thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Definitely going to have you on in the future with another episode if you don't mind.
No problem.
Subjects. But I definitely want to thank you for your time. I know we got off topic talking about some stuff like that, but I wanted to go there. I want to talk about books, philosophy, spirituality, nutrition. I guess they want to talk about how you be people.
It's all connected. It's all connected. Everything's connected.
And I'm glad people got to hear that too, because nobody here just wants to hear about you beat the shit out of people all the time. Want to hear other things as well.
Dude, I ain't been in no fracas in years, man. I keep to myself. I don't push up on nobody. Those days are done.
Yep, I say that. I mean, I'm 48, and I guess kind of like I kind of just like I don't need that in my life either. So it's like I'm just trying to stay out of people's way. Hey, whatever. Protect my family, and that's all I can really worry about. I'm gonna look into trouble. I got invited a couple of years ago. You want to be a bouncer at this rock place? I'm like, no, I don't think so.
Nah,
I don't want that life.
I get that all the time too. You're big, want to bounce? Dude,
I don't want that life. I don't want that life.
I ain't got the mentality to bounce.
I got a friend that was bouncing. He's barely got out of it like a year ago. He's been there for like 10 years. He's like, you don't want that life, dude. I don't want that life. I don't need that life. I already have a good job ready. What the hell am I going to bounce for?
Exactly.
It's like stupid. Put myself in harm's way for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Like whatever. But before we go, I want to. Do you want? I know we talked about those sticks you're making. The walking. Sticks. You saw some available?
Yeah. Here's one right here. I'll just pull one out of the box. This is just one that's available, man. This is a walnut, man. My dad, when he was dying, man, he was supposed to send these to me years ago, and he got real sick, and he forgot about them. When I went up home to take care of his estate, I found 1, 2, 3 boxes of them. I got like 18 sticks left, 14 sticks left. And this is like I believe this is a curly rock ball with a walnut top, and then it's a nice walnut square cane. Good for hitting, good for walking, legal. I sell them. If you want them, let me know, man. I got them.
Yeah, I'm still gonna hit you up for one of them. I lagged, yeah, guys, you selling these look fantastic. I'm all about craftsmanship because I'm a fabricator, and those are definite old world craftsmanship.
Oh yeah, each one of these sticks, my dad put about 7 hours in handwork.
Handmade, guys, yeah.
And I'm charging $170 shipped in the United States for one.
It's a hell of a price for handcrafted. Those woods are expensive.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, just the wood alone is pretty expensive,
Yeah.
But I got them all over the world. I've sold these sticks to people all over the world, and I've never had a complaint.
How many inches are they?
I got them all the way. Like this is a 40. I got them up to 41s. and all the way down to 36s.
So the standard walking cane size.
Yeah, walking cane size. Like I said, I when I go anywhere, I always have one in the truck with me.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's definitely. I had always keep a. You familiar with Volpe's training?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. He made me a little club I keep in my car. It's the polyurethane plastic. Man, that thing's a beast. I could say. Hope we never have to use it.
I want to get a patu from him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I want to get a patu. Yeah.
Yeah, he did some good work. I was approached a while back to make one out of my Carta, and I was like, I don't do fabric. I used to make trainers, a lot of trainers for people. I just don't have time to do it anymore. But I was made a couple little devices for women for self defense, which you can see on my page. But I don't do those anymore. But it was fun making them. It was fun making them, so we could use. But yeah, guys, hit him up if you want one. Hit him up on his messenger, and they're available. Great craftsmanship, 170 shipped. Hit him up for training, seminars, just general stuff on life, I guess, right? People can hit you up.
If people want to just do yoga, man, I'll be glad to teach you my yoga system I built.
Mr. Mike Blackgrave, the Renaissance man.
Yeah.
Guy does everything. But yeah, we're definitely going to have him on in the future, guys. Maybe we're going to pair him with somebody else and get a subject and get another conversation going. But I thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Peace. Be good, guys.
We'll be in touch.
All right, brother. Be good. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. There you go. Episode 26 in the books. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys got a lot from it. I did. Always a pleasure talking with Mr. Mike Blackgrave. Man, has a lot of good viewpoints on stuff. Life, religion, self-defense, just martial arts. Great all-around person. So anyway, with that being said, Fight House Talks podcast will be rolling on for a little bit. We might take a little break here in the near future just to get things together. Got some stuff going on with myself and Coach Kurt has some stuff going on as well. But we'll try to keep it going as long as we can and get some episodes going for you guys. We're gonna have February's list coming out soon. I know we've been lagging on getting it out, but we've both been busy and both having stuff called life. We're going to definitely have some more people on, collaboration interviews. Interviews between now and then will be, a little sparse as we take care of our own personal lives and stuff we got to do. But we thank you and value you guys for watching us, and thank you guys for continue here supporting us. I want to thank everybody that's leave comments and joins in. You guys have been great. You guys have been really supportive. For the people that who say they support the channel and they don't, we see you're not there, for the channel, and it really shows, for the people that show up, and support the channel. That's why we keep doing this for you guys. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great night. Don't really have anything scheduled right now, as per se. Keep a lookout for flyers on the Fight House Talks podcast page. And this will be downloadable. And follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And with that being said, we'll probably see you in a couple of weeks, or a month or so. I know Coach Kurt, I think, has an interview pending this month, but we haven't got a date nailed down as per se yet. But any suggestions for future shows or future guests, please feel free to leave them on Messenger or leave a comment on who you want to see on. We'll do our best to get them on. All right, guys. With that being said, I hope you guys have a great night, and thank you for watching. Thanks for participating in the comments, and we'll see y'all in the future. All right, guys, I'm about to head out of here. See you later. Peace.